Maggie is a wonderful addition to
Avatar.
our local community, avatar, who expresses herself through yoga, spiritual travel, and just her masterful use of the English language. Without further ado. Maggie.
Thank you. A yoga pose. So, have you ever sat at a traffic light waiting for the light to turn and looked in your rear view mirror and seen the car behind you? You get a really good view of the people behind. The nice thing is they can't really see you. So I was in that situation the other day, looking in my rear view mirror, and behind me was this couple, and both their mouths were like that. Mr. and Mrs. Glum. As glum as could be. It was almost like a cartoon how downturned both mouths were. And I could read the energy in that car. Why? I've been there. However, my heart just opened to them to see how glum they were. And I felt this big beam coming out, and I just sort of radiated a smile. Whether it had any effect, I don't know. But it is a wonderful practice that the Buddhists have to, at various points in your day, to simply allow a soft smile on your face. And it feels really nice. And I know that you are a cheerful lot, and that would be very easy for you to do. But if you're caught, if you're hooked in a situation, it's not very easy to smile. Early last year, we journeyed to Bhutan, a most wonderful country in the Himalayas, and we visited many, many monasteries. Has anyone here been to Bhutan? Oh, yes. Yes. My partner in fun. So we went to a lot of monasteries, and a lot of them, they're very rural. They're not grandiose like the ones in Thailand where you're dazzled with golden Buddhas before you even walk in. They're rustic little buildings, kind of tumble down, and you go through a creaky door, and within the monastery is the shrine room. And each one has a different kind of a shrine room, but each one is completely magnificent, and the Buddhas are dazzling. And it was always very moving to go in there, and occasionally the monks would be chanting, and the music is almost out of this world, kind of low rumble, rumble, rumble chanting, and then they pipe up with the Shanai and the clanging of the cymbals, and suddenly there is this sort of chaotic sound, and then it all dies down again. And so it goes in Bhutan day by day in the life of the monastery. Often the monastery at the entrance has a very fearsome looking deity, and as you've seen the Buddhist pictures, they're full of very fierce deities. And it takes courage to walk through that fearsome deity into the darkness of the shrine room. Do you know David White? Anyone here know David White? Oh, lovely. So he's a fantastic poet, and I fell in love with him this year. So the poem that I have is about his visit. I wish I had the words to describe my visit to the monastery as well as he does. So I'm going to use his language, and it's his personal story and also his understanding. But the understanding that he offers in this poem relates to that sense of the face softening into a smile, no matter what. So the poem is called The Faces at Braga. In monastery darkness, by the light of one flashlight, the old shrine room waits in silence. While above the door we see the terrible figure, fierce eyes demanding, "Will you step through?" And the old monk leads us, bent back, nudging blackness, prayer beads in hand that beckons. We light the butter lamps and bow, eyes blinking in the pungent smoke, look up without a word. See faces in meditation, 100 faces carved above, eye lines wrinkled in the hand-held light. Such love in solid wood, taken from the hillsides and carved in silence. They have the vibrant stillness of those who made them. Engulfed by the past, they have been neglected, but through smoke and darkness, they are like the flowers we have seen growing through the dust of the eroded slopes, and then slowly opening faces turned towards the mountain. Carved in devotion, their eyes have softened with age, and their mouths curve through the delight of the carver's hand. If only our faces would allow the invisible carver's hand to bring the deep grain of love to the surface. If only we knew, as the carver knew, how the flaws in the wood led his searching chisel to the very core, we would smile too, and not need faces immobilized by fear and the weight of things undone. When we fight with our failing, we ignore the entrance to the shrine itself and wrestle with the guardian, fierce figure on the side of good. And as we fight, our eyes are hooded with grief and our mouths are dry with pain. If only we could give ourselves to the blows of the carver's hands, and the lines of our faces would be the trace of the lines of rivers feeding the sea where voices meet, praising the features of the mountains and the cloud and the sky. Our faces would fall away until we, growing younger towards death, every day would gather all our flaws in celebration, to merge with them perfectly, impossibly wedded to our essence, full of the silence of the carver's hands. Beautiful.